I need you to do one simple thing right now. Take off one sock, just one, then press 2 fingers firmly into the skin just above your ankle and hold them there for 15 seconds. Lift them away and look. If you see a pale dent that holds for 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes longer before the skin slowly fills back in, then please keep listening. Because what you are looking at is not a salt problem, it is not simply age. And despite what so many people over 60 have been told, in most cases, it is not a heart problem either. It is a drainage problem. And the system responsible is one no doctor ever sat down and explained to me. The water is already pooling in your legs right now, drawn quietly into the tissue around your ankle and calf all day while you sat. And tonight when you lie down, that same fluid is going to flood your bloodstream, exhaust your kidneys, rob you of sleep, and quietly stress your heart through the night. I lived with this for years, and I am here to show you the 5-minute habit that finally drained it. I also want to share my secrets to a long and healthy life that surpass current medical knowledge before I say goodbye. My name is Nancy Jane. I am 105 years old. Every single evening, without fail, they would swell. By dinner time, I could press my thumb into the skin just above my ankle bone and watch a little white dent sit there staring back at me like an accusation. My shoes stopped fitting by 4 in the afternoon. My rings, I still wore my wedding ring every day, would get tight enough to worry me, and I would lie down at night and wake up 2, 3, sometimes 4 times to go to the bathroom, exhausted and confused and a little bit frightened every single time. My doctor, and he was a good man, I'm not saying otherwise, ordered an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of the heart. The results came back and he told me my heart looked fine. My ejection fraction, the percentage of blood my heart pumps with each beat, was 62%. Completely normal, he said. And I remember sitting in that office feeling relieved for about 45 seconds before I realized, if my heart is fine, then why are my ankles still doing this? He gave me a diuretic, a water pill. He told me to cut back on salt. I took that water pill for 6 months. 6 months of running to the bathroom 10 times a day. 6 months of being so dehydrated by early afternoon that I could barely think straight. 6 months of skipping social outings because I was afraid I would not make it to a restroom in time. And at the end of those 6 months, I pressed my thumb into my ankle and watched the same white dent stare back at me. Nothing had changed. I want you to understand something. When you are 68 years old and you are swollen and exhausted and your doctor has run the tests and the tests say you are fine and you still feel terrible, there is a very specific kind of loneliness that settles in. You start to wonder if it is in your head. You start to wonder if this is simply what getting old feels like, and maybe you should stop making a fuss about it. I am here today to tell you it is not in your head, and you should not stop making a fuss. Because what nobody told me, not my doctor, not the cardiologist who reviewed my echo, not the pharmacist who filled my prescriptions every month, was that my body had 2 drainage systems, not one. Most people only ever hear about the first one, the blood. Arteries carry fresh blood out from the heart. Veins carry the used blood back. That system has a pump, your heart, and it runs every second of your life, whether you do anything to help it or not. But there is a second system. It is called the lymphatic system. And here is the thing that changed everything for me when I finally learned it. It has no pump, not a single one. Your lymph is a pale, clear fluid that leaks constantly out of the tiny blood vessels in your tissues. It bathes every cell in your body. It picks up cellular waste, dead bacteria, excess protein, and, this is the important part, excess water. Then it carries all of that through a completely separate set of vessels and returns it to the bloodstream, 2 full liters of fluid every single day. But those lymph vessels have no heart attached. They have no engine. They move only when you move. Every step you take, every time your calf muscle contracts, every time you flex your ankle, you are squeezing those lymph vessels and pushing the fluid upward and out. Stop moving and the whole system stops. Sit in a recliner for 3 hours after dinner and the conveyor belt, that is the best way I know to describe it, simply halts. The fluid just sits there in your ankles, accumulating, a teaspoon at a time, going nowhere. When you are 30 years old, this is not a serious problem. Your lymph vessels are elastic. The valves inside them are crisp and tight. A short walk can restart the whole system in minutes, but after 60, three things happen all at once. The lymph vessels stiffen, the valves begin to leak, and the connective tissue around your ankles loses its own elasticity, so fluid seeps out faster and drains slower, and the reservoir just keeps growing. The diuretic my doctor gave me could not fix this. A diuretic pulls water out of the bloodstream, but my fluid was not in my bloodstream, it was in my tissues. We were treating the wrong compartment entirely. Now I need to pause here because I am a responsible woman and I have outlived enough people to know that not every swollen ankle is a plumbing problem. If your swelling comes on suddenly in just one leg and that leg is painful, warm and red, please stop reading and call your doctor today. That can be a blood clot and it is serious. If both legs are swollen and you are having trouble breathing, especially when you lie flat or you wake up gasping in the night, that is your heart telling you it needs help right now, not next week. If your swelling comes with rapid weight gain and foamy urine, your kidneys may need attention. These situations are not what I'm talking about today. What I am talking about is the gradual, symmetrical, evening worse and morning better swelling that millions of people over 60 are living with every single day, quietly, assuming it is just part of aging. It does not have to be. I figured out the clue entirely by accident. I had a granddaughter getting married out in Colorado, and I flew out for the week. I walked everywhere that trip, museums, restaurants, parks. My granddaughter kept apologizing for how much we were moving around, and I kept telling her not to worry about it. And at the end of every single day that week, I looked down at my ankles and they were fine, better than fine. They looked the way they had looked 20 years ago. I came home and I told my doctor, something is different when I travel and walk more. My ankles are actually better. He nodded. And a few months later, I found my way to a clinician who understood lymphatic drainage, and she explained it so clearly I almost laughed out loud. The walking was not incidental. The walking was the treatment. My lymph system is a conveyor belt, and I had been giving it a long work shift every day in Colorado, and almost nothing at home because I had stopped moving as much as I once did. So let me tell you what I changed, and I want to be very clear that I am not a doctor and I am not prescribing anything to you. What I am doing is telling you what I did at 68 years old that quietly transformed the quality of my daily life, and what I still do at 100 to stay as well as I am. Every morning, before my feet touch the floor, while I'm still lying in bed, I do 30 ankle pumps. I point my toes down, then flex them back up toward my face 30 times. It takes less than a minute. It wakes up the lymph system after 8 hours of stillness, so that when I stand up, the fluid does not rush all at once down into my legs. Every hour during the day that I am sitting, and yes, even at 100 I sit quite a bit, I do 20 calf pumps, heels on the floor, toes lifting up and back down. Or if I am feeling strong, I stand and rise up onto the balls of my feet and drop back down 20 times. This is not exercise. This is maintenance. This is keeping the conveyor belt running. Before dinner, without fail, I take a 5-minute walk. Not a workout, just a walk around the yard or around the house if the weather is bad. 5 minutes of actual walking activates the deep calf muscles in a way that seated ankle pumps simply cannot replicate. 5 minutes. And then, 90 minutes before I go to bed, I lie down on my bed and put my legs up against the wall. My heels higher than my hips higher than my heart, at roughly a 90-degree angle. I stay there for 15 minutes. During those 15 minutes, I do slow ankle circles, 10 in each direction, and then alternating ankle flexes, 20 of them. And then I place both hands flat on my belly and I breathe. Slowly, deeply, through my nose, my belly rising with every breath for 3 full minutes. This is not meditation, though it is peaceful. The deep belly breathing activates something called the thoracic duct, which is the main drainage vessel of your entire lymph system. It sits right behind your diaphragm. Every deep breath you take is literally pumping your lymph. Your breath is your pump. When I get up from those 15 minutes, I do 10 slow upward strokes on each calf, starting at the ankle, using the flat of my fingers, stroking firmly but gently up toward the knee, always toward the heart, never downward. This is a simplified form of what clinicians call manual lymphatic drainage, and it physically moves fluid from the tissues into the lymph capillaries. After I do this sequence, within about 10 or 15 minutes, I feel the need to use the bathroom, and I do. That is the fluid that would otherwise have woken me at 2 in the morning, at 4, at 5. I am draining it on purpose while I am awake and in control, instead of letting my kidneys scramble all night to process a flood they were not prepared for. Within a week of starting this, my sock marks were gone by morning. Within 2 weeks, I was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. Within 3 weeks, I was wearing shoes I had not been able to wear in 2 years. I did not change my prescriptions. My echocardiogram did not change. What changed was that I started giving my lymph system its work shift at a time that worked for both of us. I also made a few quiet changes to what I ate, not dramatic changes. I was not about to give up my morning coffee or my Sunday pie. But I started drinking more water throughout the day because dehydration actually makes lymph thicker and more sluggish, not better. I started eating a small handful of dark berries most days, blueberries, blackberries, whatever was in season, because the compounds in them strengthen the walls of small blood vessels and reduce the rate at which fluid leaks into the tissues in the first place. I made sure I was eating enough protein because low protein levels in the blood allow fluid to leak out of blood vessels and pool in tissues, and many older adults are mildly deficient without knowing it. Eggs, fish, a little chicken, some cottage cheese, simple things, and I cut back quietly on the hidden sodium, not the salt shaker, I barely use that anyway, but the canned soups, the deli meats, the store-bought bread, the condiments. Those are where the sodium hides, and sodium pulls water into your tissues and holds it there. I also stopped sitting in my recliner for 3 hours after dinner. That one was hard. That recliner and I had an understanding. But those evening hours are when your legs pull the most fluid, and 3 hours of immobility right after your largest meal of the day creates exactly the wrong conditions for overnight drainage. Now I get up at least twice during an evening of television and walk around the house. It takes 2 minutes. It makes a real difference. Now, I promised you something more today than ankle exercises, and I intend to deliver on that promise. Because here is what 32 years of teaching children, 51 years of marriage, 100 years of living, and a fair amount of careful observation have taught me. The protocol I just described, the ankle pumps, the legs up the wall, the belly breathing, the diet adjustments, all of that is real and it works. But in my honest estimation, and I believe science is beginning to catch up with what older people have always quietly known, the physical part of health is only about 30% of the story. The other 70% lives somewhere that no echocardiogram can measure. I have known people, strong people, people who exercised and ate carefully and did everything right on paper, who got sick and stayed sick, or got old and shrank quickly because something inside them went dark, a bitterness they held on to too long, a loneliness they would not admit to, a sense that the world no longer had any particular use for them. And I have known people in genuinely difficult physical circumstances who lived with a brightness and a steadiness that seemed almost unreasonable given everything they were carrying. And those people, almost without exception, shared a few things in common. They were sincere. Not performatively cheerful. I'm not talking about the kind of relentless positivity that is really just fear wearing a smile. I'm talking about sincerity, the willingness to mean what you say and say what you mean, to be, as much as possible, the same person in private that you are in public. That kind of integrity, the alignment between what you feel and what you do, takes an enormous amount of invisible work, but it releases an even more enormous amount of invisible tension. And that tension, held in the body over decades, does damage in ways that no blood test will ever show you. They were honest, with themselves first of all, the hardest honesty there is, honest about what they regretted and what they needed to make right, honest about what frightened them, honest about what they wanted from whatever time they had left. I have watched people spend the last decade of their lives performing a version of themselves that exhausted them daily, and I have watched people set that performance down, sometimes quite late, and immediately become more alive. The body follows the spirit. When you stop pretending, something in you exhales. They were patient, not passive. There is a difference. Patient with themselves on the days when the body does not cooperate. Patient with other people who have not yet arrived at the understanding they have arrived at. Patient with the slowness of change, because every good thing takes longer than you want it to and arrives differently than you planned. Impatience is a form of fear, and fear is exhausting in a way that shows up eventually in the joints and the gut and the sleep and the blood pressure. Patience is not giving up. Patience is trusting that you are still on your way. But perhaps the most powerful thing, the thing I would press into the hands of every person reading this if I could, is this: find someone to help. I am not being sentimental. I am being practical. The research on this is clear and has been for decades. People who feel useful live longer, get sick less often, recover faster, and report significantly higher levels of daily well-being than people who feel that their contribution to the world has concluded. Purpose is not a luxury for the young. It is a biological necessity at every age, and perhaps most urgently at mine. You do not need to start a foundation. You do not need to volunteer 40 hours a week. You need to find one person regularly who is better off because you showed up. A neighbor who does not have anyone to talk to. A grandchild who needs someone to listen without judgment. A friend who is struggling with something you have already walked through. A stranger at the grocery store who looks like they are having a terrible day and might just need someone to smile at them like they matter, because they do matter, and so do you. And the act of reaching out, of choosing to be useful rather than waiting to feel useful, changes something in the chemistry of your body. It reduces the stress hormones that inflame tissue and disrupt sleep. It increases the compounds that support immunity and mood. It gives your nervous system a reason to calm down. It gives you a reason to get up. I have taught hundreds of children. I have held the hands of friends as they were dying. I have written letters to people I barely knew because I thought they needed to hear something kind. I have baked pies for neighbors in grief and sat on porches with people who had nowhere else to be. And I am telling you, at 100 years old, with complete confidence, every single one of those things did more for my health than any medication I have ever taken. Not because helping others is noble, though I believe it is, but because helping others reminds you, viscerally and immediately, that you are still here for a reason. And when you know you are here for a reason, your body tends to cooperate with you a great deal more readily. So here is what I want to leave you with today. Do the ankle pumps, put your legs up the wall, drink your water and eat your berries, and take your 5-minute walk before dinner. These things are real, and they helped me, and they will help you. Write down your grade on the PIT test tonight and test again in 2 weeks. The change will be measurable, and it will feel like evidence, because it is evidence, that your body still responds to care. But do not stop there. Tell the truth more often, even when it is uncomfortable. Be patient with yourself on the hard days. Look for the person in your life who needs what you specifically have to offer, and offer it. Not because it will make you feel good, though it will, but because it will make you well in the deepest sense of that word, in the places that no doctor's visit has ever been able to reach. I have had 100 years to test this. I would not trade a single one of them, not even the hardest ones, because every year, even the years when my ankles swelled and my heart ached and my body asked more of me than I thought I had, every year gave me one more opportunity to be of use. That is the secret. Not a supplement, not a protocol, not a number on a lab result. The secret is showing up for your life and for the lives of the people around you with sincerity and honesty and patience for as many mornings as you are given. I still have a few more mornings left in me. I hope you do too. Now go do your ankle pumps, and then go call someone who needs to hear your voice today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Leave your age and your city in the comments below. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know who you are and where you are living this life of yours. And if you know someone whose ankles swell by evening, whose doctor told them it was their heart, who has been taking a water pill that never quite worked, please send them this. you may give them the explanation that nobody else bothered to. Take good care of yourselves and take good care of each other. That is the whole of it right there.